Hello everyone, this is Gabe. This is not a regular episode of the Analyze Nation, but I still felt it important to lend my, if very small voice, still a voice to this controversy or event or I don't know what you'd call something like this, to be honest. But here goes. For those of you who don't know, which by the title will probably be approximately none of you, Ruby Rose, the actress, was recently bullied off Twitter by mostly right-wing, but also arguably a few dozen left-wing trolls. Hateful bigots and idiots. Apologies for being redundant. Unfortunately, this is not new. This is just one more case in a long, long line of people who have just been harassed off of social media, have decided to give up their voice because they've decided that it isn't worth it. And to be fair, the type of idiots that go after them, I do not blame them. But before I take too much of a trip back into memory lane, let's discuss why these people felt it so necessary to go after Ruby Rose on such a massive scale. What did she do? She accepted a role. She is an actress, after all, that is her job. She accepted a role to play Batwoman in an upcoming DC project. Now, I will admit I am not very much of a Ruby Rose fan. I think she is an okay actress. Talented, certainly more talented than me. And I will also admit that I'm not necessarily a Batwoman fan. In fact, until maybe about a week ago, I kind of thought they were the same character. But anyway, that's my history. To get back to the point, Ruby Rose was cast... Ruby Rose was cast to play Batwoman. So, what are people so angry about? Well, Batwoman, to the shock of many, many people, is gay. She is lesbian. She is attracted to other women. Such a controversial fact about someone in 2018, mind you. So, of course, a bunch of right-wing bigots, who also called themselves comic book fans, even though I will bring up a point that would prove that they weren't, went after Ruby Rose, of course, for this decision that she obviously had a big part in making, though she didn't. Attacked her because Batwoman would now be a lesbian, and SJWs were ruining comics and comic books and movies and Star Wars and DC and blah blah blah. Blah. All that crap, right? All of that, of course, is not true. Why? Because I believe Batwoman has been a lesbian character since 2006, 2007, around that area. More, I think, more than 10 years, Batwoman has been a lesbian character. Most of these people upset are either idiots, well, they're all idiots, excuse me. They're either ignorant of comic book lore, or they're bigots. And there's a lot of overlap here. What is she being critiqued on from the left side of things? Well, Ruby Rose has been kind of vague about her sexuality. In fact, several times she's implied that it's kind of a choice thing, that she doesn't really see her sexuality as a set thing. It's more fluid. She's also said this about her gender. I personally couldn't give a damn, but some people obviously do. They said she wasn't gay enough to be Batwoman. Really? Acting isn't a thing now? I mean, I know people use that argument for the transgender actor thing. And I would argue that it's a bad argument in this case, but in this case, I don't really think so. What is... she's not gay enough for you? I mean, I'm kind of ignorant of Orange is the New Black, but aren't a lot of characters, including Ruby Rose's, explicitly gay in that show? Or did I miss a few hundred scenes? Whatever. Point being that there is ridiculousness and outright vitriol that went on Twitter from both sides, though I would say that the right-wing side of idiocracy was the more prevalent one. So Ruby Rose leaves. And the thing that I'm really upset about, well, there's two things. One is that we lose Ruby Rose on Twitter. And as I said, I'm not a big fan of Ruby Rose, but I still think it sucks that any person should feel it necessary that they have to sacrifice a part of their voice, a part of their influence, a part of their interactions with fans because of people who ruin it for everybody, like these jackasses did. And yeah, I'm kind of being crude because this is kind of making me angry. Kind of a lot making me angry. And this isn't the first time that this has happened, is the thing that sucks to me so much about it. You can't really point to a beginning, I don't think. The farthest back I can go, really, is Daisy Ridley, when she basically quit all social media after a bunch of people went after her based on her opinion on a gun tragedy that had happened in the U.S. for absolutely no reason. Another Star Wars example would be, of course, Kelly Marie Tran, who portrayed Rose Tico in The Last Jedi, and who will thankfully be reprising her role, and yes, I said thankfully reprising her role, in Episode 9. Screw you haters. But yes, she left Twitter because of racist, sexist, and a whole bunch of other crap that was being thrown at her on Instagram. For no reason. She did not post photos that one could say or rationalize that she deserved these comments from, even though no photo would deserve these comments from. If that made sense. Nope. She just played a character that a lot of some people thought were worse than Jar Jar Binks. Now, I don't know how you do that math in your head, but that's never added up to me. Anyways, so she gets thrown off. Sorry, I should be clear about my language. She leaves due to harassment. And now, fast forward to today, or rather to, I think, yesterday at this point, though I could be wrong on that, and Ruby Rose has left Twitter. Now, this is a difficult thing, because I don't want to say that people deserve to be on Twitter, because that's really not what my argument is, and what I think a lot of people's feelings on this are, because no one deserves to be on any social media platform. It's not a right that we have. But I would say that we have a right to not be harassed. That celebrities have a right to not be harassed. For taking a job that they played, for doing something so inane as to seek out a livelihood. Seems duh to me. But no, of course we have to yell and scream and moan every time somebody does something that we don't like, even though it probably isn't their fault. Even if said thing could be considered a fault. No, what I am saying is that every time a celebrity leaves, that just emboldens these trolls, these hateful idiots, again, sorry for being redundant, it emboldens them more. They say, we got another one. This is good. And I can't really even get into that mindset myself. It's kind of like a fictional thing. I have to imagine that someone in a book would think this way, because I can't imagine anybody in real life thinking this way, but clearly they do. So us, as a fandom, as a fan of movies, as a fan of comic books, we've lost another voice. We've lost another person who we can celebrate something with. No, as of this time, she's still a part of the film or the project. I forget exactly what it is, to be honest. I haven't been paying much attention to it, other than for this. She's still attached to that project, though. So thankfully, they haven't won completely. But I think we as fans need to do something about this. You see hate while you're on Twitter, or on Facebook, or on Instagram, or anywhere. We need to speak up more. Because these idiots, they're just going to get louder and more emboldened and more dangerous, in my opinion. This is Gabe. These have been my real thoughts on this Ruby Rose thing. I hope to see her back sometime soon, and hopefully this doesn't happen too soon again.